All right. So good afternoon, everyone. For those of you that do not know me, my name is Travis Spots, and I work as the Roots to Prevention Coordinator. Here at Roots to Prevention in Camden, we are a cross-sectoral collaboration of nonprofits and healthcare providers, educational and government entities with a focus on reducing upstream causes of illnesses through food security. At Roots to Prevention, we believe that a healthy household is one that has the knowledge, income, and access to fresh fruits and vegetables in their daily diet. Thanks to funding and support from the Build Health Challenge and Grant and a generous match from our partners at Virtual Health, Roots to Prevention is connecting with residents with experts in the food access, healthcare, nutrition, urban agriculture, data analysis, and also creating a healthy local food economy. So I thank you all for joining us today as we co-host this meeting with two of our partners from I Create Productions and Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield of New Jersey, who are also on the call with us here today. And before I pass it over, I'm going to quickly plug in some of Roots to Prevention's programs and initiatives to share with you guys. If anyone's interested in accessing some of them, you are more than welcome. And I'll also be sharing links and registration forms to each of the things I'm mentioning in the chat as soon as I finish speaking. So we have a website at rootstoprevention.com that I'll share in the chat. And on our website, we have Root Camp video web series that were produced by our partners at Free Haven Farms that teach you everything that you would need to know as far as growing produce here in the Camden County area. So there's about 11 videos on this Root Camp web series that you can learn from if you simply just register to become a Roots to Prevention website member on our website. And there's also Ask the Farmer web service through our website that you can access if you have any questions with gardening or anything else like that. You just type in these questions to the Ask the Farmer web service, and it actually shoots them directly to me. And I can, if I'm unable to answer the questions myself, I can tap into my many resources and figure out a way to get you guys an answer for any gardening issues that you may have. So there's two direct features of our website, and there's many more that you'll come across there that not only the Roots to Prevention website hosts, but a couple of our partners that you can find some other resources there as well. We have an advisory board that currently has our next meeting scheduled for the 27th at the very end of this month. So I can share a calendar invitation to that into the chat if you are interested in joining. It's really just more of an open discussion place where we can share our program updates and any other questions that our gardeners and residents have. They can bring them up and we can have an open discussion with them there. So that is on the 27th at the end of the month. Those meetings normally last about 45 minutes and all are welcome to join. We offer free food safety training through eFood Handlers, an online web service that gives food training to Jersey residents for 3 years. The costs for this training are covered by the department. So anyone that is interested, we'll also post the registration form into the chat. It's about an hour-long presentation with about a half-hour exam at the end. So not a lot of time to take to become certified in food handling in the state of New Jersey for 3 years. It's really easy to obtain. So there's another resource for everyone here. And we actually are just working on opening up our gardening spaces here at Roots to Prevention. So we operate out of the Parkside neighborhood of Camden, and we are opening up our Parkside History Garden, which is over on Park Boulevard at the Historical Society. And if anyone is interested in obtaining raised bed garden space because you do not have enough space in your own home or area, we have spaces that are becoming available. They're being maintenance this week and next week, and by the end of the month, we would like to have residents planted into these raised beds and start growing. So if anyone's interested in some available gardening space, please let me know. I'll paste another registration form in the chat. Each of these will be labeled as well so that it's not just a ton of links in the chat for everyone here. We also have cookbooks that were graciously produced by our partners at I Create Productions. They highlight many healthy recipes that you can cook in your own home. Then these are free to Camden residents or anyone that wants to obtain one. And the recipes are produced in English and Spanish if there were any concerns about language. Finally, we have I'm sorry, let me pull this. I'm going to share my screen, but we have the option for residents to receive a free one-on-one personalized nutritional education and counseling session with a Rowan dietetic student to discuss ways to better improve your eating habits and manage your chronic conditions, or we can discuss any other topic of your choosing. So sessions will be supervised by registered dietitians, and they will be conducted by a Rowan dietetic student. And I will have a nutritional questionnaire registration form to post as well for you to fill out to get started there. So that was quite a bit of information that I glossed over pretty quickly. So I'll post each of these links, forms in the chat with a little title, and you can take the time to check out each of the things that you are interested in at your own time. And I'm here I'll post my email in the chat as well for if there's any questions that you have about anything at all. Maybe I went over something too quickly, or you have an unrelated question, something comes up down the line, you can reach out and I will respond to all questions that anyone has. With that being said, I'm going to pass it over to Yvette Alvarez from Horizon, and she can begin her presentation. So I thank you all for listening to me, and Yvette, the floor is yours.
I think we've been doing this for about a year and I still forget to unmute. Thank you, Travis, so much. So good evening, everyone. As usual, thank you so much for sharing your time with us today. It's great to be back for this. I think is our fourth meeting for the Family Cooking Challenge. And I also like to thank our meeting host, Parkside Business and Community and Partnership, for bringing us all together. So as Travis said, my name is Yvette Alvarez. I am the Community Health Education Consultant at Horizon, and joining me today is my colleague Edgar, who's going to provide you some information and overview about NJ Family Care. Edgar.
Thank you so much, Yvette. Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Edgar Osorio. I'm a community health rep with Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield New Jersey. Specifically, I deal with members who are Horizon NJ Health or NJ Family Care. Today, I just want to discuss with you guys briefly over the process of Medicaid. For those of you guys who are not familiar, Medicaid and NJ Family Care are both the same thing. Their names are used interchangeably. So if you hear NJ Family Care or if you hear Medicaid, just know that they're both the same program that I'm talking about. Without further ado, I'm just going to switch really quick into this PowerPoint presentation. It won't take too long. Again, what I really want to share with you guys is most importantly on how to apply for NJ Family Care. So NJ Family Care is the name of New Jersey's public health care coverage program. This is pretty much the Medicaid program for New Jersey. It comes at a low cost, free cost to those who are qualified. That's for children, specifically for people who are disabled, and also for any adult that meets the qualification, the income qualification guide. As you have here, we have an HMO, which is a health maintenance organization. In blatant terms, that's pretty much the company that's going to be taking care of you, kind of like how we have our cell phones and we describe our carriers by like AT&T, T-Mobile. The same thing is, this is the word, the HMO, and this is the type of acronym that they use to define like Horizon Blue Cross Blue Shield in Jersey, Aetna, and also like Amerigroup and other companies like that. Now, the eligibility determining agency is the agency that's in charge of your application. Once you apply with the state the application will be submitted, and the eligibility determining agency, or the EDA, will be looking over it to make sure that everything checks out the way it needs to. Now, there are 3 ways that you guys can apply. I'm going to be showing you after this real quick what the website looks like. But for first off, before COVID happened, a lot of people would go into the Board of Social Services, would apply in person. They'll hand you a paper application. And from there, once you apply, you hand it back to them and they'll give you the results a month later through the mail. However, because of COVID, a lot of the offices are currently closed or closed off to the public. Now, what they're asking people to do instead is to actually call this 1-800 number that you'll see in front of you. That's the 1-800-701 number. That's the hotline that they refer to, in which you can go ahead, follow the prompt, and actually speak with the health benefits coordinator to actually fill out an application. Once they fill out the application for you, you'll be able to see, or from there, you'll be able to get a confirmation number to let you know that you officially applied with them. Now, with that being said, if you don't feel comfortable with talking to them, or it's really hectic line, because a lot of people are calling that hotline number very frequently, the next best step is to go into the njfamilycare.org website. There they'll have all the information as far as like how to apply, what's the income bracket that you need to qualify, and also if there's any additional information that you need. Real quick, let me see if I can exit out of here. I will show you guys exactly what I mean with the NJ Family Care website. Just add in here. Oh, cool. Can you guys see my screen from here? No? Okay. Oh, got it right here. So this is the NJ Family Care website, in which you'll be able to go through all the information that you need as far as like how are you eligible if you do qualify. And what makes it all the better is that they actually give you a nice little star button that you can go ahead and click on. And from there, you'll actually be able to access the application. From there, you'll start a new application, or you register, which I highly recommend. If you guys have an email address, just really quickly, it's a 5-minute process, just register with them. So that way, if you're going through the application process, let's say, and you don't have the information up front, you can real quick save it, log out, and then once you have all your information ready, you'll log back in and you'll pick up where you last left off. Now, for whatever reason, if you don't have access to a laptop, to the internet, or it's just been really hard for you to get in contact with NJ Family Care, this is where I come in. You'll be able to set up an appointment with me. I'll be more than happy to do the application over the phone with you. I'll go really thorough what the application asks for, and if there's any additional information that you need or any type of questions you may have about the program itself, this is where I'm here. So that's why I like to introduce myself. And what I'll do is I'll go through the application very thorough, and I'll give you 2 things, which is the number for NJ Family Care and also the information, your confirmation application number. That's really important because once you apply, you do have to wait at least 30 to 40 days for the state to contact you. They'll do everything through the mail, but if for whatever reason they don't send anything through the mail, then you have your confirmation number. All you have to do is call the NJ Family Care number and they'll be able to help you out from there. Now, just to let you guys know, once you do get the letter in the mail saying, hey, thank you so much, it's usually going to give you an introduction packet in which they'll ask, before we accept you into the program, we just need some information from you just to verify and make sure that the application is correct. They'll ask for specific documents such as your ID, social security number, proof of address, proof of income. Once you send that out into a prepaid envelope that they give you, then they'll be able to respond with a, hey, thank you so much. You are currently accepted to our program. Your coverage will start on such date. Or if they do deny you, they'll also give you a reason as to why you're denied. Now, with that being said, if you guys do have any other questions as far as like, hey, listen, I have Horizon NJ Health. I just don't know where my doctor is at, or where can I find a new doctor? I'll be able to help you out with looking for a new doctor, or if you guys need a new ID card, I'll give you exactly who to contact, so that way you will be able to print out a new ID card. But like I said, this is what I do as a community health rep. If you guys have any questions or concerns, I'm more than happy to help you guys out. With that being said, I will pass it over to Yvette.
Thank you, Edgar. That was really informative. Hopefully you guys found it to be helpful to you, or maybe even information that you can share to someone else you might know who is in need of getting health insurance. So as Travis mentioned, Roots to Prevention is all about making sure that we're addressing or decreasing the risk of chronic disease and illnesses before they happen, right? And one of the things that sometimes people are not aware of is that food is a big component to that, meaning that food should be seen as medicine. It's a way that we can get back on track to being healthy, but understanding that we have to eat the right types of foods is really key. So this past year, I know that a lot of families have experienced challenges with feeding their families. And I want you to know that there are food resources available in your local community. I'm going to read two statements to you that people have shared with me about their food experience. The first one is, we worried whether our food would run out before we got money to buy more. And the second statement is, the food we bought just didn't last and we didn't have money to get more. So I'm going to ask you, was this often true, sometimes true, or never true for your household in the last 12 months? And so, I know that it can be difficult to answer out loud. So I want you to know that I'm going to provide my contact information shortly. And if you want to find out more information about food resources in your local community, let me know, because this is one of the things, this is why we're here, to make sure that you are getting the resources that you need and where to go to get them. As in some of our previous meetings, I've talked about prevention health, and obviously food is one of them, as I said before, that it's key to keeping ourselves in good health or getting back on track. But it's also important that we understand that there are some other factors that play a role in making sure that we stay healthy. And those begin with making sure that you're going to the doctor. Some people might call it a wellness visit or a checkup or a physical, but it's that usually one time a year in which you schedule an appointment to see your primary care provider. During that time, he'll talk, or she will talk about your health and family history, a physical exam. They'll talk about vaccines. But the key of this appointment also is an opportunity for you to communicate with your doctor about some of the questions and challenges that you might have had during the year. I personally never remember questions that come up during the year, so I usually rely on my phone. I'll jot it down on an app that I have as a reminder. Whether you make a note and you put it in your wallet or your purse, I highly recommend it because this is the time for you to be able to get those questions answered. I mean, how many times have you forgotten something at your doctor's office or forgot to ask them something and you have to call, and then it's usually a few days before you hear back from them, right? So try to keep that in mind. Also, it's the time when your doctor's going to check your blood pressure to make sure that you're not at risk for heart disease or stroke. Knowing what your blood pressure numbers is very key, as well as knowing what your cholesterol levels are and your blood sugar or glucose, your blood glucose levels. And those two, cholesterol and blood glucose, are determined by lab work, right? Your doctor might send you to go get some lab work done, and they'll do an analysis to see what your cholesterol is, which is the amount of fat in your blood, as well as what your blood sugar is. Because we know that those if they are at unhealthy levels, they can increase your risk for heart disease and diabetes. And so your doctor will also do a BMI screening, which will determine if you are at a healthy weight for your height and your age. He'll talk to you about screenings that will be coming up, or maybe you might be past due at different stages within, in our life. So for example, breast cancer screenings usually begin anywhere between the ages of 35 and 40, depending on risk. Obviously, it's just as important to make sure that women are being screened for cervical cancer. Just like conversations about prostate cancer screening, colorectal cancer screenings, and for those people who might be smokers, lung cancer screenings, right? So if you're able to develop that habit of scheduling your appointment every year, your doctor's going to mention to you, hey, next year it's about that time. You're going to need to think about getting a screen for colorectal cancer. Or maybe it's your breast cancer screening. So, if you are not going to your doctor regularly, you're not going to know when these screenings are advised. Okay. And so another really important part of preventative health is vaccines. And I know that it's a big part of the conversation. In every household, it's regardless of what channel you watch, it's always on the news. And that's the one thing that I wanted to focus on today, because some of you might know that you have heard the word immunizations, vaccines. They tend to be used interchangeably as well, but it's what we're able to do to prevent from getting sick, right? Vaccines have been around for quite some time. I think now more than ever, people are really putting a lot more focus and attention on it. But just as a reminder, it's not only for adults, vaccines are also important for children. And a lot of children have missed their vaccines this past year because of COVID. So whether you're scheduling an appointment for yourself or your children, make sure that you talk to them about getting back on schedule for any vaccines your children might have missed. Most of the time we think about, or previously we talked a lot about or thought about the flu vaccine, but this is what I'm going to be discussing is the COVID-19 vaccine and giving you some information and hopefully answering any questions that you might have about it. Okay, so let me share my screen and 1 second here. Okay. Can you see it okay? Yes? Okay, great. Perfect. So I'm just gonna, it's not a long presentation, but I just want to go through some things to give you some information. And then as I said, this is my contact information. If you would like to know about some food resources, you can email me or call me and I can connect you to them. So as I mentioned about what a vaccine is earlier, it's something that we've been getting from, when we were younger, our children have been getting, and oftentimes people just, will follow their physician's recommendations, excuse me, but what a vaccine does is it's a way to protect our bodies from getting sick before we get sick, right? That's what we're always trying to prevent. And just some vaccines that you might have forgotten about that we have had and received in our lifetime are things like the MMR, or the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine, the flu vaccine, chickenpox, pneumonia vaccine for, you may know individuals who are a little older that might have received them, right? But the whole point of it is to make sure that we are preventing illness before it happens. And when you receive any of these vaccines, just as the COVID vaccine, our bodies will start to develop antibodies, right? And the way I like to explain it is that our body's producing, like, our immune system is what protects us against illness. And when you get a vaccine, the vaccine helps your immune system build up its army against any kind of virus or disease. So it's one of the things that I I have experienced, and people have asked me some very interesting questions when it comes to not only the vaccine, the COVID-19 vaccine, but just in general, that there's a lot of misinformation that is being shared out there. And I want to emphasize that please, whether it's about a vaccine or any kind of health condition, I encourage you to reach out to your provider, your healthcare team, right? Your healthcare team consists of your primary doctor, any specialist, a nurse, nurse practitioner, right? Those are the people, and actually even yourself, right? Because you need to arm yourself with the information so you can make the best decision for yourself, excuse me, and your family. But I have noticed that there is a lot of misinformation that's being shared by people's personal experiences, just non-reputable websites that people are visiting to get information as it relates to the COVID-19 vaccine, as well as some other things. So just make sure that you fact check and double check what is actually true and valid, right? So I mentioned earlier that going to your annual visit, your doctor, it's an opportunity for you to communicate your concerns with your doctor, right? So take advantage of it, because this is where you're going to get the facts. This is where your healthcare team is going to be able to provide you an explanation, a better understanding of something that you have a question or concern about. And as I said, it helps you make the best informed decision for your health. What can help end the COVID-19 pandemic, which I think everybody is looking forward to? And that is when we have a certain amount of people that are vaccinated, that will generate what's called herd immunity. It just means that you have a large amount of the population that is vaccinated, but we know that there are those individuals who don't get vaccinated, maybe because they have some underlying health issue or maybe some other reason. But when you have a significant portion of the population that is vaccinated, it protects not only yourself, but also those people who are unvaccinated. And it also reduces the risk of those variants that they've been talking about on the news, right? Because we know that the virus mutates. And if we are vaccinated and we're not able to spread the virus, right, that the virus won't continue to mutate and we won't have as many variants. So like I said, it's the COVID vaccines are all over the news. And I know this is not new to you, but just for the sake of this conversation, you know that the 3 vaccines that are available are Pfizer, Moderna, and Johnson & Johnson. And I know that some people have said, well, I want to wait for a certain one. And while I understand that, I will say, as long as you're able to safely get any vaccine, I would encourage you to try to get an appointment and sign up for the one that you're might be available. Although this past week we know that many different locations have opened up various appointments. So for the Pfizer vaccine, it is 2 shots that are given 21 days apart. This is recommended for people 16 and older, right? And so I want to point that out specifically because, again, in New Jersey, I believe, starting next Monday, individuals over the age of 16, anyone over the age of 16 will be able to become vaccinated. The Moderna vaccine also is in 2 shots given 28 days apart, and it's recommended for individuals 18 and older. And then we have the last one, which is the Johnson & Johnson. It's a single shot vaccine, also recommended for individuals 18 and older. And I do want to mention that although all of these vaccines, right, you notice they have different percentages of the efficacy rate. The one important thing I want to note is that all 3 vaccines have 100% have prevented deaths from the COVID-19 virus by 100%. Okay, so not only, although, like I said, they have different percentages of efficacy as shown here. In the end, we want to make sure that people are not dying from the vaccine. So that's, I think, is what is key when they've approved these vaccines. Okay, so as you know, if you've ever gotten the flu vaccine or maybe some others, that sometimes you'll have side effects. For the COVID-19 vaccine, some of the side effects are kind of flu-like symptoms, achiness, redness in the injection site. And all these are very common, especially even feeling tired, because when you get a vaccine, your body goes into overdrive and starts to producing antibodies, right? That's what it's doing its job. So if you're feeling a little tired or sluggish, give yourself what your body's asking for, right? And just rest up, and it usually goes away in a few days. After you receive your first vaccine, make sure that you're waiting the allotted time, I believe it's 15 minutes, because it's during that time period where if somebody's gonna have a bad reaction or allergic reaction to it, it will be within that window, okay? So just make sure that you wait patiently, and then be sure to schedule your next appointment before you leave. Now, I think I've only heard one person say that when they left, they weren't given a second appointment, that they were going to be called or had to follow up. So I'm not sure if all sites, if there are any other sites that are doing that, but my personal experience has been that they give you the appointment before you leave. And then remember that even if you get vaccinated, you still need to social distance. You should still wear a mask. And this is really important because remember, if you get vaccinated today, you will not be fully vaccinated until 2 weeks after your second dose. Okay. And I think for the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, it's a little longer. So during that time period, you still need to follow proper precautions, washing your hands, follow good hygiene habits, and and wear a mask when you go out. As it is right now, I believe pretty much everywhere you're still required to wear a mask. Here are some resources that you can go to. And as I said earlier, make sure that you are getting information from reputable websites, because there is a lot of misinformation that's being shared out there. And the one thing I want to make sure that people do is to make the decision with your provider, right? Talk to your provider. He knows your health history. Have that discussion about any questions or concerns you might have so that you can choose whether or not the vaccine is right for you. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about the vaccine? I want to mention something that someone recently asked me is about switching vaccines. And by that, I mean that they started off with getting the Pfizer vaccine, and then they asked if they could switch to the Moderna. Just know that you should not switch. If you have a problem with your first vaccine shot, talk to your healthcare provider. They will give you a recommendation whether or not you should get the second one. If you are getting the second one, make sure you stay with the same brand. So you can't mix Pfizer and Moderna or Johnson & Johnson. So the first vaccine is Pfizer. Your second vaccine has to be Pfizer as well. Okay, so I did want to clarify that because it seems like there were a couple people who had questions about it. All right. I wanted to also note, and I'm going to put in the chat right now, that in Parkside, Bell's Pharmacy, let's see, did it go through? There we go. Bell's Pharmacy in Parkside section is offering the vaccine. I put their website in the chat so that you can visit them. Also, Camden County Vaccination Center, and also NJ.gov Vaccine Finder. So That's new. I actually just recently discovered it, and it gives you real-time updates as to where appointments are available. So earlier today, I checked it out and it said, oh, as of 8 minutes ago, no appointments were available at certain sites. And I was really surprised to see that the information is being generated and shared in real time. Okay, so hopefully, if you do have any questions, you can reach out to me either in the chat privately or based on my contact information that I shared with you. And at this point, I'm going to pass it off to Justin, who's going to share some information about the family involved in the Family Cooking Challenge.
Hello, good day, everybody. My name is Justin de Guzman. I am a CEO of I Create. Kenny's down for the count. He had a couple teeth that he got pulled, so I'm gonna be the voice of I Create today and speak on our family. It's a friend of mine, Bruce, and it's his son. It was definitely a different atmosphere, a different energy, definitely a different environment when they were working together. It's a different duo, so it definitely was fun. It was very they were like the young people said, they were coming for each other throughout the video, but it was healthy, it was fun, it was beautiful. So I can't wait to y'all get a chance to look at this. Travis, you can hit that.
Okay, working on sharing my screen now. Can everyone see this?
No, I'm not.
Yep.
Yes.
All right, here we go.
We can't hear it.
I was worried about that. All right, I might have to play it through my phone, but it's coming from my laptop. I hope this is.
My name is Bruce, and unfortunately, he's right. I have to listen to him, but I don't have to like it. Peace and love shows how you can eat healthier, different ways, different foods that are around that we can use to make ourselves better, feel good about live a little bit healthier. And wait to see what's coming underneath this heart so that we can get back into it. Yeah, wait a minute. Okay, let's see what we got. Okay, come on, next. That's fine. Let's get you on one side. Okay. Okay. Pretty Brussels sprout I just got from the sweet spinach, peppers, okay. Asparagus. All right. Any spices? Okay. I don't think we got these, so we're good with the spice. The first thing I'm going to do is put out hot water. With my salt. And I'm ready for this pasta, any vegetables, anything that's going to go. See, there's no protein, so we're probably going to feed the mushrooms to make up for. Well, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't there protein in some of these? What we have over here? Some of these contain protein. I mean, there's okay. So that protein, we just okay. I should probably say no meat protein. So you got something in mind? You can make it 15 minutes. Oh yeah, for sure. All right. One time start rolling the ball. The first thing we're gonna do is take the asparagus, which I know you love, and see this part of the bottom. Yeah. Snaps. For snaps only, this is running. Then what I want you to do the snap. Take the asparagus, just shave around it. That's gonna be salad. Gosh, how many do I need to do this? bunch. You want a decent one. So let's take these out of here. What did we just take out? I took the process step down. So what we're going to do is we're going to take these out of here. And then once this is filled up with the asparagus shavings. Alright, so I'll just start filling this up with the asparagus shavings and you'll do your thing over here. Sure.
You're not even doing nothing.
I can just over here. Yeah. These. Let's see if it's good. Actually, so it is good. So we're good. Alright. Rather from the back or top to bottom or no, just shape. This should look similar to the option. Now what we'll just do I mean, is this for flavoring or for texture or aesthetics part of that? Is making a mushroom wrap, all these portobellas, the onion, the flavor, the entire piece of asparagus, right? Except for the potato. Correct. So we first, then we're just breaking off. And just here's the indication. Just a quick, want to make sure our last season real quick. I'll wash off the other ones that I've already got. So if you don't drown, they don't do a drown. Just be able to eat. Good. Yes, sir, absolutely. This is the reason I thought it was. Okay, help me. So then right now, I'm just making from with mushrooms. What's that part you're doing? I'm cutting these mushrooms up now. It's syrup. Certain ragu. Yeah, no animal protein. Where do you start the ragu? I put the ragu with the sauce. Well, no, you're not wrong. Not exactly. The ragu is essentially cooked down steak. So it can be a sauce, it can be, it can't really necessarily be broth. So if your ragu meat is cooked down, I got some heirloom farm tomatoes right from the Springdale Farm Market. Great, isn't it? I mean, I appreciate it because they weren't the hideout tomatoes. They were actually heirlooms, and they couldn't be on the shelf. I can tell you this, just like I said, it's back in time, but that was recently a time really healthy that I enjoyed. Something that I do. Like I said, they were heirlooms. I think it's going back to that point, then you gotta remember certain things grow certain times of the year. And the things like the smaller farms are gonna have the local produce you need. Times you want. But you're probably going to remember, you don't limes, those are really big. Things like the asparagus, things that are hardy. You can see the winter cold. We love stuff like legumes, nuts, stuff like this. Okay, and again, hardier things. We're getting into spring, so ramps are about to start coming in the season. With ramps, they're delicious. It's all. So that includes tomatoes, alright, so seaweed mushrooms, extracting all the flavors that can be taken out of them without finding heat, like, and or that start to work on it. We're gonna break this down. So caramel. So caramel, right? Sugar, and you get this little candy thing. Essentially, cooking with sugars, the evening of them, making them. Is the process by which they take heat and become sweeter, nuttier, bolder. In fruits, there's that salt and sugar. You want to get those things, right? So that's going there. Another thing I like to do, especially when I have a more health conscious dish, is to make it spicy. Because capsaicin is the chemical that controls spice physically, just as it's applied. But capsaicin helps you raise your body temperature, squeeze your metabolism, makes it a lot better for you. So spicy raises everything, so put your body on high alert. Toothbrush and endorphins makes you happy, but it also helps regulate with water. Now we make this water boil, so we can start a pasta. Hot temperature. So while we're waiting for that water to come up, go next to that. Get your topping. You can see this pepper, and we're going to take pepper and show you how to do that. Careful. Sharp. We're just going to school learn how to do this stuff. I went to a really expensive school. And they were culinary institute in the office. You know that because you paid. So if you get paid back, but each different story for the time anyway. You go talk to them later. Actually, the thing is I'm in charge right now. I'm on pay you back first. So if this were a hot pepper, so if this were a hot pepper, this is where the majority of the heat would lie, right? So you've got the flesh right here, then you've got the heat. Well, we're going to use it. Are we going to use this part? No, we're not. No, this is each one. Because you eat pepper and it's like a little pithy, a little green. That's this one. You can see. Can see all where you could use something. You see you can see the texture of the video. Okay, now I can see it. I can see the veins. Yeah. So that's what you're taking it off, making it a little easier to eat. Then we're just going to throw our fingers in, press your knife again, knuckle. We're just going to thin little slices. Lean. Okay. Good. Cool. And then we're going to do this. Adding in this mushroom tea. You just right here, just get out a little bit. I'll make this pop here come up. And it's like layer flavor on flavor, right? So you got the cooked mushroom flavor and then the original. And then you added this raw mushroom garlic flavor. Hey, Dad. Yeah. Did I mention to you at Shark? I just want to make sure I was fully clear that Shark. So you know what? Send you to your room. You mentioned it. I'm sure you want to hit or something. It's not quiet. A lot of vegetables, right? It's funny. When they're cooked, they sort of lose all their nutrients. You know, because like when you cook them, you're adding heat, which is breaking down cells and taking out some vitamins and whatnot. One thing that doesn't happen with is tomatoes. So the more you cook down tomatoes, the healthier they get. Which is kind of fun for them. But that's kind of also why we're leaving that salad as well. Okay. We change its nutrients so that to maximize the health value of the whole 50 minutes. Okay, we're going to sort of combine these super cooked down tomatoes, which are going to be healthier, flavored with mushroom for the umami that flavored with the mushroom. The tomato sauce. Flavored with mushroom. Which is going to help us with umami. What's that? So there's 5 things. Salt, sweet, acid, umami, and bitter. Bitter you'll find in ingredients, right? Sweet you'll find in butter we use, sweet milk, that's the natural sugar in the microbes, whenever we talk about carbonation. Acid, you already got acid.
Sorry.
Tomatoes, it's going to be there, cooked out. Umami, that is savory, and there's cheesy flavor. That's what we're going to get the mushrooms in. So I'll give you a little bit of that. I have to get on hard song. What was it again? No. I said it was cool. You lose a little bit of pasta water that's in there. It's fine because of the fact that it's pasta. It's a little starchy. So residual heat. It'll allow sauce to help start coating the noodles themselves. The vegetables that we just blanched are also nice and green. Should I take this out? It's too small for you right now. You can do that. Smells good. A little bit of everything in the shot, a little bit of mushroom, pasta. And then the part that I'm most excited for is the salad. This is considered salad. Yeah, it's garnish, but it's considered salad. So that's it. You were part of this race. You ready? Yeah, I'm ready. You put it down was good. I have to give you the process. Well, I'm sorry, it's a tablespoon of it's amazing. There's a lot of heat in here. There's waiting on the heat. All right, I'm hungry. But do you remember what all this is? Yeah, we have the peppers, these sliced asparagus, the mushrooms, obviously the pasta, the red sauce, and a variety of flavors, cayenne pepper, and we have a hot sauce, so we're not cooking that in there too, but we get around to that. So yeah, I'm ready to dig it. I mean, so far, the best thing you need is still standing right next to you, helping read it. So like, subscribe to the team. And then he might change my mind. You do nice. Yeah, it's true. Good. Just some slack. Just one copy. It's still strong, but now I'll work on that. But overall, I have no problem. This is great. Thank you. You're welcome. I appreciate you doing the little challenge and for having us out here to take this on and show that, girls are absolutely eating healthy. Thank you. Thank you.
There you have it. So thank you, Bruce and Chef Kyle, for taking the time to do the healthy cooking demonstration with us. I got to say that was very informative to me as a viewer as well, learning a lot from your son, because he had a lot to share even while he was cooking with us, and it was entertaining. So thank you.
Not a problem.
Yeah, the dynamic was definitely different. Bruce, oh, sorry for cutting you off.
That's right.
But I thought it was one of our strongest videos. They did a really good job, father and son. Bruce, would you like to say something?
I appreciate, Justin kind of threw me a curveball because I literally thought he was just going to film my son. And then he told me to come from behind the camera, and I was like, okay, I wasn't quite ready for that. But yeah, he did a great job. He trained at, from an early age. My daughter's on the line too, but I would come downstairs and they were like 4 or 5 years old and they're watching Emerald, when they should be watching Scooby-Doo. And I'm like, what are you all doing? We're watching the cooking show. What are you, nuts? But once he got out of high school, he trained at the NECI Institute, I think it's called New England Culinary Institute in Vermont. And right after he got it there, he was in New York for 10 years. He's local now. He got out of New York about 2 years ago. But yeah, he's been busy. He works crazy hours. I don't know if I could do those hours, but they said if you love what you're doing, then you'll never work a day in your life. So he definitely loves what he's doing.
Well, that's great to hear. Unfortunately, he couldn't be here with us today, but it was great to have the both of you on.
Yeah, I texted him and I said, "You ready for tomorrow?" And he says, Dad, I got 9 straight 10-hour days. He says, I won't be able to make it. I said, okay. I've been living with that for a long time. So it's toss up.
Well, thank you again. Is any other questions, comments, anything anyone else wants to bring up here while we're here?
Sure, Bruce, I thought that was a great recipe. I love the fact that you guys use just, like I always tell people, you have most of the ingredients you already have in your home, and also using spices. A lot of people forget that, you don't have to add salt to give food flavor. You add spices to really bring it to the next level. So I thought that was fantastic. No exaggeration, I made mushrooms yesterday. They didn't look as good as yours, but yes,
they weren't mine, they were his. I don't know what he was doing with them. He was slicing paper thin layers off the peppers. I've never seen him do that before. Right. I had no idea what that was. But I guess that's the stuff you pick up when he's been working at it as long as he's been, picking up those little tidbits that you don't really get taught in school,
Right.
Yeah, I love mushrooms myself, and that little mushroom medley was new to me.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm gonna have to go try out and hopefully get it right.
Yeah,
he never cooked like that at home though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never got that at home.
Shaving the asparagus, I thought was a really good one, because it's funny if I go out to dinner, they have asparagus, I'll eat it. But when I prepare it, it doesn't seem to be as tasty. So I'm gonna try that, shaving it and putting it in, like with the peppers. I thought that was great. So
I'm not an asparagus individual, but I tried it then for, took one for the team. It was, like I said, I guess I just don't have the palate for asparagus. But with that, paired with the shaved peppers, and the peppers in that sauce, yeah, it was definitely pretty good. It was definitely good.
Yeah, I think a lot of times we underestimate how layering those flavors really bring it all together. Something that we wouldn't necessarily eat on its own. Like you said, asparagus, when you put it all together, tastes amazing. So thank you so much for participating.
Not a problem. Thank you.
Yeah,
Thank
thank you again, Bruce, and tell Kyle we said thank you as well. And also thank you, Edgar, Yvette, and Justin for taking the time to join us here and co-host this presentation. So Bruce, we'll have this posted on our website here for you within the next day or two, so you can locate.
Is that New Jersey? Is that New Jersey care that I wrote down? Was that the website, or is there a different link?
It'll be at rootstoprevention.com. I'll post it one more time in the chat here.
rootstoprevention.com.
Yep.
Okay. I see it.
Oops. Well, just misspelled it in the chat, but
Appreciate it.
Prevention.com. All right. And with that, if there's no other closing statements from everyone, we're going to conclude this demonstration. So thank you all and have a great evening.
Take care, everybody.
You too. Take care.
Thank you
Bye,
guys.
everybody.
Stay safe.